But yeah, like I said, I've already apologised to everyone. I've been like bedridden for a couple of days, so I've managed to move a few feet from over there to come here, and the show must go on, right? And sorry if I cough and stuff. I'm going to try and do my absolute best to not...
I'm going to have a mint in case my breath smells, okay?
Hi, welcome to Daz Wargaming. You've joined us for another episode of Behind the Brush Deep Dive, and we have got the very much anticipated Mr. Stephen Box from Vanguard Tactics. Thank you for joining us, Stephen.
So I'm late.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, though, for having me.
It's okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Like I said, I've already said beforehand, I'm not feeling too great, but I was desperate to come on and do this. I didn't want to cancel it. So yeah, definitely wanted to get you on and have a chinwag about a bit about yourself, a bit about Vanguard Tactics, and things that are going on, basically. As always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Mr. Dante Paints.
Who? What? Where? Oh, that me. Yes, and we've got Stephen in the new studio, which is one of the main things we want to touch on today.
Ooh.
The next part of the Vanguard Tactics journey.
Yeah. So for those that are watching this back on YouTube, this is being recorded live on a Twitch stream. So I will mention, if you want to be involved, like in these live, then you can go and follow us on Twitch and be a part of that over there. And yeah, basically I just want to put that out there. If you want to be a part of these live, and in the YouTube description I'll put all the links to all the Vanguard Tactics stuff as well, so you can go and check all that out.
Don't bother, it's a load of rubbish.
Okay, this is going to be a really short conversation.
I mean, that's interesting. And your other team members that we've had on have been really enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't watch that Vanguard Tactics rubbish.
Well, there we go. You've heard it here first, everyone.
Unless you like snake oil, I've got loads of it. If you enjoy being conned, again, I'm all over that. So yeah, basically,
we throw that one out there as well.
There we go.
Chuck it in there, you know. Look, if there's a con, I'm all over it. You know, that's what I'm about. Yeah.
Love it. Well, I will.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Bit of a tangent.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I like tangents like that. It just allows me to think about what I'm actually going to say next. So thank you very much for that. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll start off with the very basic question that we always ask people, just in case anyone that doesn't know who you are or Vanguard Tactics is when and how did you get into the hobby?
Oh my god. Right, so when did I get into the hobby? I was probably 11, and I remember playing these with these orcs, and they were so derpy looking, like they just had like this the gun out to one side and the sword out to the other. And it was with the terrain that we used was I want to say Gorkanaut terrain or something. There was this weird game where it was like a big circle castle of orc terrain.
Right.
Made out of cardboard. It was like Jake made it. It was that bad. And then after that, shortly after that, I think there must have been like an edition drop, because the Drakari with the little jungle trees, palm trees, were out, and the Black Templars were on the codex now, I think. Do you know what I mean? Like the codex that was out for like the last codex, the 9th edition codex for Black Templars, whatever. That artwork was on that codex, on that cover, I think.
Right.
So I think that's 3rd edition.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Right. So then, naturally, I played till like I was 16, and then I found something called Girls.
Right.
And I stopped playing Warhammer because girls are a lot more interesting when you're 17. But kept the Warhammer on the down low. Didn't want anyone to know because I thought they might not thought I was cool enough. So yeah, played a lot of sport. Found the girls thing. That was like quite a big stint actually. And then I got a bit older, and I realised the error of my ways, and I realised actually Warhammer's actually where it's at. So then I went back to Warhammer. Yeah,
wise.
I know, right?
Very wise.
So, yeah, I know. It's, yeah. So then, and I came back to Warhammer. There's a longer story about that, but that's how I got into Warhammer.
Yeah.
Okay? And when I got into Warhammer, I immediately, and so that's why I like Black Templars. And then after a while, Lord of the Rings came out, and that was the main game I played for a long, long time. Was Lord of the Rings, because I just made up the rules for 40k when I was younger, kind of like what I do now actually, but a bit different, slightly more official. But so I made up the rules then, kind of do that now, but Lord of the Rings actually played it seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wicked. Nice one.
So that was my origin story.
Yeah. So me and Gareth are going to try and go back and forth here, but I've already ruined it. So
You haven't. Don't worry. We can
it's fine.
So you ruined.
Don't worry, it's fine. It's just don't worry. It's just that my brain fog. It's before this started, we agreed. Oh, Gareth said, "Oh, I'll go first," and I've just gone and done the first one. It's like,
can't believe it.
I know.
You're stealing your thunder, Gareth.
I'm going to sit back. I'm going to sit back.
I'll make him ask 2 questions in a row in a minute. It's completely fine. So obviously, you've set up Vanguard Tactics.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
You had a little bit of a joke about that, but can you tell us a little bit about what Vanguard Tactics is about, please?
What's Vanguard Tactics about? Right, so, oh geez. So when I got back into the game, I was like, I played a lot of sport in my time, and started going to a local club, and just, online, you're online, you're on Facebook, and you're like, I was like, okay, I was trying to meet like-minded people that also maybe want to go to a tournament, because I found out there was Warhammer tournaments, and I was like, okay, I want to do that because, I like competing. All right, there's a big difference, by the way, between being competitive and competing. They're two different things. And anyways, I want to compete. I like competing. I've competed in everything I've ever done, so why wouldn't I do it in this as well? Okay, because it's like a good testament of where you're at. It shows you, your ability, how to improve, great lessons to be learned. Anyway, so I was like, cool, I want to do this. And everyone was like kind of spitting at me. They were like, oh, you stink of cheese, your beard's massive, why would you do that? People are horrible when you go to tournaments. They're like, win at all costs, they're cheaty. And I was like, you're joking me, right? People actually cheat at this game? It's a game of like small plastic toy soldiers. And they were like, no, that's what people do. I was like, right, well, I need to go and see it for myself. So first big tournament I went to, absolutely played against a big cheater, didn't I? And I was like, right, this needs to change. So I thought, okay, well, do you know what? I'll video, because how I started Vanguard Tactics is a whole different story. And my first ever video was made out of sheer spite than anything else. So anyway, long story about that. But started making videos. Let's just go from there. You don't need to necessarily know why right now, but you can ask me if you wish. And I'm pretty much an open book, by the way. You can ask me what you want. So
perfect.
I was like, okay, cool. Can I change the face of what is deemed competitive Warhammer?
Yeah.
So that's what my channel became about, was how do I promote inclusion? Because, God, there are gatekeepers like you wouldn't believe. And, how can I promote people just not cheating and trying to be good at the game by using their brains to understand the rules rather than using their brains to see how much they could deceive their opponents. So that was what originally Vanguard Tactics was about documenting my journey, helping other people with some little tactics that I was learning along the time. And basically I didn't have many friends, so it was a good way to meet people too. So that was what originally Vanguard Tactics became about, was just kind of trying to change the the overall opinion of what competitive 40k could be, which is why I called my podcast the Competitive 40k Podcast, because then I thought, am I allowed to swear or not?
I mean, I can, well, yeah,
I won't.
wow.
I won't, but I nearly did.
Okay.
So I was like, screw it. I'm sure I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah,
like,
it's more editing for me, that's all.
No problem. I was like, screw it. That's fine. You should have asked this before. I was like, screw it. I'm just going to own the name of Competitive 40k. And if enough people listen to it, they'll believe it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just then... And then obviously people started to ask me for more and more help. And I was like, well, I've been doing online fitness coaching for way too long anyway. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a very easy, I suppose, like... thing for me to do to help people with Warhammer. I've got all the infrastructure for coaching. I know how to teach people. So all I'm doing is, rather than teaching people about calories, macros, protein, and getting bigger biceps, I'm teaching people about points, efficiency, mission play, secondaries, damage dealing, and not being a douchebag at the table. It's quite a very simple transition for me. So, and then the first ever academy was born, basically. And then it's grown into this horrible monster that consumes all of my time and doesn't really give me any days off. My boss is a right idiot and works me to the ground, basically, yeah.
Very nicely put as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I say at the time recording as well, you've currently got the MVP campaign running.
We do, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's important if we have a chat about that, if you don't mind. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how people can get involved? What it's all for.
Okay, so the MVP campaign is, and I was hesitant to do this. I'm not going to lie, I was hesitant to do it. So for the last 5 years, I started this channel with a webcam. Not in a dodgy way, by the way. Before you get any ideas, okay, this didn't start like that. All right. No shade on anybody that does, but my channel this time didn't.
This time.
Anyway, so on previous Stephen Box businesses. Anyway, so my point is, we just evolved. We naturally grew. However, I had this idea, and I thought, let's go big or go home. And I thought, okay, well, I could do this. I'm going to do it. And I'm probably one of the most stubborn people you ever meet when it comes to anything business related. I will just work. That is what I'll do until it happens. So I thought, okay, the thing I'm worst at is asking for help. So I thought this time I might ask for help. People tell me I should do that more. I might listen to them this time, rather than being so stubborn, and I'll ask for help. And the MVP campaign allows our community to become most valuable players of Vanguard Tactics. So what my dream is to build this unit that I'm currently sat in, which is a completely empty unit, which is why the echo is a bit bad, so apologies. And I want to turn this into what I'm going to deem a center of excellence for gaming and hobby, where you can come and you can learn, and you'll be welcomed no matter who you are. Whether you're 16 years old, or maybe you've just got into the hobby for the first time, or maybe you're like some weird old veteran like Gareth that likes playing Heresy,
Quality.
I'll even let him in.
Been attacked.
Okay? So
I'm sound clipping that.
Yeah. So downstairs, I want to build a gaming center where we've got tables that are purpose built for, that can be packed away, and we can run big seminars with the best guest speakers possible. I want to get the biggest companies involved with, workshops, so they can show you the products and you can actually have a go with them, and you can learn from the best of the best, whether it's painting, whether it's, airbrushing or gaming or whatever. That's what I want to build downstairs. I want to be able to run the best tournaments where, the referees aren't going to accept anything but the best standards of fair play and sportsmanship. And I want to ensure that upstairs is 2 state-of-the-art studios, so we can push the production of our videos, that I can help other people as well with, whatever content creation they want to make, and pass on those skills to new people. And I want to expand the team grow what we've done, and just ultimately become a much more inclusive place to inspire people to play this weird little game that we happen to like. So that's exactly what I want to do. But in order to do so, apparently I need things like a floor, I need a ceiling, I need walls, I need these things called air exchanges, right? Do you know what an air exchange is? An air exchange is so that people can breathe. And I think it's slightly overrated that people could just, I don't know.
People are so needy nowadays.
I know, right?
So
it's just ridiculous. So just breathe, get on with it.
Exactly.
Anyway, apparently aircon air exchanges also isn't cheap.
Yeah.
So I've took to what's been called as either conning people or e-begging or anything else. So that's essentially what I'm doing, and I'm asking for help.
Yeah.
And you can, if you want to become an MVP, you're going to get a load of awesome stuff. I think so. I'm biased. I put them together. You might think they're a load of rubbish, and if you do, don't buy it. But if you do, then I'm going to appreciate you till, for no end. Like even today, right? So I've got a little Discord for everybody that's become an MVP, no matter what level they've become at, whether it's a scout or a chapter master or a primarch.
Yeah.
And today went live, and I was like, I've actually put up 4 tables downstairs, and I was like, this is actually really cool. We've got 4 tables. I can actually practice playing Warhammer downstairs in this unit. Like, it's actually, it was a really surreal moment for me to think this is actually happening. So then every day in Discord, I'm telling people what I'm doing, what I'm spending the money on, just being like 100%. Because at the end of the day, people that are essentially gifting me money for overpriced products that they could buy cheaper themselves individually, like for example, you can get a cap with us, right? A VT exclusive cap.
Yeah.
Well, caps aren't that much money. Like, you could go and buy a nightcap if you really wanted something to put on, your head to cover your head from the shade or the sun. Like, functionally, it's the same thing. But the difference is your money's not going to Nike, it's going to me. But I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it. So on a daily basis, that's exactly it. I'm like, right, so I've just signed the agreements this week for all the legality of getting all the premises changed, because apparently that's the thing. I needed to call landlords and stuff. And today I had to go on a first aid at work course in case anybody cuts themselves on their own Blood Angel model. Jordan, you absolute...
Yeah. That's Jordan all over that.
Classic Jord, right? Who cuts himself on his own Blood Angel models, right? I went out and I come back from, and I'm like, why is the first aid kit out? Jordan's cut himself. How's he cut himself? On his own Blood Angel model. What do you mean on his own Blood Angel model? Oh, we had to get him a plaster. I was like, oh my god, this is...
Yeah.
The accident book came out as well for this. This was a big one. Yeah, it was big. Jordan that was it. That was nearly the end of Jordan.
Oh dear.
I'm only saying that because I'm here.
No, but so those different levels that you've got there for the MVP stuff, they're open now. When do they run until a certain time, or are they just indefinitely until you hit a target? Or
well, so I thought about this. The goal is £150,000 we need to raise for the dream, right? The ultimate Stephen Box dream and mission is 150,000. We've raised 62,000 in what day is it today? Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah.
So we've raised 62,000 in 6 days so far.
That's fantastic.
It's great. Now, what that means is I can stop talking about it soon. So at the end of August, I'm going to pull the plug on it. I'm going to be like, right, this is how much money we've raised, and I will, if needed, loan whatever I need to do, I will do to facilitate this, because I really appreciate every single dollar, pound, penny people have put in, and I want to make sure that they get what they've essentially entrusted me with. So I'm going to do what it takes, but I also don't want to talk about it too long because people get bored of it. So
I get that. Yeah.
So I'm cutting it off end of August.
There you
if you want to be getting
a
people. Get it now while it's hot. Yeah,
there we go.
And some of them are actually nearly sold out. Actually, some of the tiers.
So yeah,
the Primarch tier is only one left.
Cool. That's amazing stuff. But yeah, so I'll put this video out the weekend anyway, and on YouTube, and I'll put all the links in the description anyway. So if anyone watches it back and wants to support further, then
as well.
Sorry?
look at it. The link is in the Twitch chat now for anybody that wants to look at it.
Oh, look, Mr. Dante Paint's using his mod skills to put links in the chat there.
It's only so that Nightbot doesn't jump all over.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Dante. Thank you.
We got
The one thing that I know has come up is a lot of questions on the Vanguard Tactics battle reports and Discord that I'll be clear about is that these things are a one-off thing. It's not like the monthly payments for some of the other things that Vanguard Tactics offers that we might get onto a little bit later if we have time. But these one-off payments to go towards improving this new studio space that Stephen's looking to do for the Vanguard Tactics team. It hopefully means that obviously it's a very nice space for them all to work in and deliver that content.
Yeah.
Speaking of tournaments, given you've mentioned the negatives, mentioned what you want to bring to the table, pun totally not intended, at the venue when you get it set up and running. What's your advice to somebody who's looking to start to get into the competitive side of either 40k or AOS, given that you're getting into the AOS side of things now?
What would be my advice? Well, the most important thing about going to a tournament is that you feel competent in your knowledge of the game. Okay, that's key. You want to feel like you can compete. You want to be able to go and give your opponents a good game. And that means not just cheating, but being able to play in a timely manner. Being able to provide them with some sort of tactical nuance so that they have a bit of a challenge. So, for me, getting to a tournament, it's like... it's not the starting place of the hobby. It's not the end either. It's somewhere in the middle. And I think that would be fair to say for any sport that we were to ever go for in whatever we would try to do. If you wanted to compete in judo, I'm sure that you've got to go to a lot of trainings, you've got to get different belts before you're allowed to fight, right? Or compete. If I wanted to play football, then I'm not just going to walk up to a, top team and all of a sudden be playing. That's not going to happen either. I'm going to have to get my reps in. I'm going to have to practice. I'm going to have to improve my knowledge of the game, which is exactly why I created the academy, because it was that journey to help somebody go from never playing before to being competent by the end of that experience, because there was nothing else like that when I started. I had to go through the painstaking process of watching battle reports like my rubbish ones or other people great ones, and you try and pick up information here, there and everywhere, and you look at lists and you're not really sure how they're working, and you're wasting money on what models you should buy and shouldn't buy, and you put them on the table like these are rubbish, and there's just this whole painstaking process behind it. So the most important thing about going to a tournament is finding a community, so being around a group of people that you actually like and can tolerate, and that's rare in this day and age. Actually, I find it really difficult to make friends in like people, but hey, that's just me. You might be different. So most importantly, you find a group of like-minded people to go with, but that can also be difficult as well, because some of the I'm meeting up with Ben. So Ben Jones is one of my best friends, right? I had never met Ben before until I played him at a tournament and he tabled me in a turn. I'm not sure why I'm still friends with him, but we clearly bonded in that moment of me getting absolutely ruined on the tabletop at a GT. I can remember the GT, I can remember the army that he played, I can remember the army that I played. That is very, very rare for me to ever say about most people I play or meet. And to this day, me and Ben have been on more international flights together than anybody else I've ever travelled with. And it's forged a friendship through this ridiculous game of stupid toy soldiers. But the experience you can get from playing at a tournament is often, and I would say 99% of the time, unbelievable, and you're going to absolutely love it. But you've got to put yourself in the right place to do that.
Yeah. I agree. Is it all frozen up?
No, not my end.
I think Steven's frozen up my end.
People are going to love playing against you.
There we go. He's back. Sorry, Steven, he cut out there on
back.
you.
So I was saying, if you focus on being if you focus on being a great opponent rather than a great player, then every time you rock up to the table, you're going to be greeted with a smile, and that's exactly what you get when you wear a Vanguard Tactics t-shirt.
Yeah.
You go to the table, and somebody came up to me the other day, and they were like, "Do you know what? I was, 3 games in at a tournament. They're about to play game 4 in the morning, and they were like, I'm gonna drop. I can't be bothered to play this." They rocked up to the table, and they saw somebody in a Vanguard Tactics shirt, right? And they went, "Well, I'll play it then." And then they came up to me at Warhammer World, and they went, "That was the best game of the whole weekend." And I nearly sacked it off, and I only played it out of respect for Vanguard Tactics, and I knew I was going to have a good game. And that's exactly the experience that we want people to have.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk too much, obviously, about myself, but I want to just mention there, based on what you've just been speaking about, that was the whole reason that I started organising and doing my own AOS tournaments, based on getting the best out of people in regards to sportsmanship, making great games, and whatnot. And say we had some of the VT guys join us for the last one. Stephen just left us on that.
No, I think he knocked his phone over.
All of us. It just tried to make my phone the camera, and I didn't even press anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. No. So obviously, Jord, Martin, and Seb came to that AOS event, and it was exactly what I planned the event to be. Everyone else there had that same mindset. They came with that same mindset that Vanguard Tactics tries to emphasize. That it just came with the right spirit with it, and it was absolutely fantastic. I kind of regret not doing another one this year, because it was great having the guys there from Vanguard.
I'm sure we'll be at the next one.
Well, I've got to try and organise it. I will do it. I'll have to do it, but yeah, it was super good. Or
you could organise it here.
Oh, there we go, done.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
You could organise one quarterly here.
There you go.
At this new studio. This is the potential that the MVP campaign gives us,
Yeah. It's fantastic. Yeah, that's definitely something that would be awesome to do. And I say, Jord actually came away with the trophy from the AOS event.
I know he hasn't shut up about it since either.
Has he not? I was half expecting him to have it in the background of every battle report he's in.
Yeah, you're not wrong. We'll try that.
Been banned from the studio, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Bless him. No, but anyway, yeah. I just wanted to say, obviously, that seeing the guys in that setting, an event that I was running, was just awesome to see. It more than the other years that I'd done, the whole place was just buzzing with a positive energy. It was really good. So that's all. It's all down to that Vanguard Tactics mentality.
It's great to hear.
Yeah,
that's great to hear.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just talking about myself. We won't talk about
me.
That's
all right.
We won't talk about me and my tournaments anymore.
You have to run some here, mate, as soon as we're up and running.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome, man. Yeah, definitely up for any of that sort of stuff. We'll have to chat for sure.
By the way, did you want the sarcastic Steve, or did you want, what sort of Steve did you want tonight? Because I feel like I'm giving you the Sarky one. So that's what you get.
Was that? So what you just said, is that you not wanting me to organise a tournament? Was that sarcastic?
No, that was genuine.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay. Just generally.
Okay, yeah.
I think we need the Stephen that best suits the question.
Yeah, we go. Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
cool. I can mix it up. Yeah. But the problem is, sometimes I need to explain myself to people, because otherwise they'll be like, "Oh my god, he actually hates Jordan." No, I don't actually hate Jordan. I do. Anyway, let's not get into that.
Let's not get into hating Jordan.
Let's not get into that. I don't actually hate him. Okay, if I did, I probably wouldn't say those things.
That's what I say, yeah.
Normally, if I'm polite to you, you've actually got to be worried.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that.
But yes, here's
if I'm overly polite, you've got a big problem with me. Yeah, anyway.
Here's quite an open question. It'd be interesting to see what your answer is. But what is your favourite thing about the hobby?
Going for food after.
Okay, that's an interesting answer.
I like eating.
He likes eating lots of things with protein in, I think.
Yeah, I do like that actually. Yeah, I do like that. Yeah, like for me, that's what it's about. It's about. Originally, like I said, VT was a little team. There was 5 of us, right? There was me and Jack and Ben and Mark and Dan. That was the team, right? We could all fit round a table at dinner. Can we do that now? Absolutely bloody not, because too many people have joined us. It's like a most ridiculous thing. It's like, now I can't even book a table that big. I've got to get multiple tables when we go for dinner after these things. It's just chaos. People want to split the bill. I'm like, oh no, this is just madness. Madness, I say, but anyway. So that's for me the favourite part, is getting to spend time with my friends, listening to how they all lost, or how they all deployed stupidly, or how their list is rubbish, or how they rolled dice badly. That's what I care most about, is listening to their pain points. Yeah.
A great answer. Love that.
So, do you have a particular hobby hero or someone who has inspired you?
Bear in mind that everyone else we've had on from VT has actually said you.
They are paid to say that. That's good to know, actually. That's nice to hear. Yeah. Who is my hobby hero?
It's a tough one.
There's
right?
people I respect for different reasons.
I think that's generally what we get from a lot of people answering it, is there's not one.
You can't get it down to one person.
It's a horrible question, really.
But if
Do you know
want
what?
a few people,
Do you know what? I'm actually going to go... I might say an answer you might not expect.
Okay.
Games Workshop.
Oh, wow.
You didn't expect that, did you?
No.
No, because...
Your explanation, because I think I might know why you've said that, but I'll let you explain.
So, this business was created by a bunch of nerds that just happen to like a game, right? And they've managed to build something quite remarkable. Do they get it right every time? Absolutely not. Do they get it right most of the time? Well, we wouldn't be here if they didn't. And I think the infrastructure, the level of business that they've been able to build for so many people to enjoy and hate at the same time is quite remarkable, and that is inspiring. Because they've been able to elicit so much change and invoke so much emotion from the most toxic people in our community to the people that love it most. They've been able to divide opinion. They've been able to just provide something for us to even talk about. I mean, I wouldn't be talking to you two, would I, if I didn't play this game?
No, that's true.
Do you know what I mean? It's such a... I don't mean that in a nasty way. These two losers. Do you know what I mean?
wouldn't blame you.
We wouldn't have met. It'd be like a 1,000,001 chance we met in any other sort of situation than this one, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I think if you're listening to this, take a minute. Whether you like Games Workshop or not, we need to thank them. And that's my inspiration.
There you go. I wasn't expecting that, you know. There you
So
go.
when I'm CEO of Games Workshop, you'll know that we will make the right decisions, okay?
Yeah. Just bring back those Chaos Dwarfs, I'll be happy. Let's not talk.
People be hating on me now. Watch Reddit go mad
Yeah,
after
right,
that.
Yeah.
He's such a shill. He's a shill. That's it.
It's fine.
Blah, 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 blah.
No, I mean, I always say that, you know, I like Games Workshop and things. It's like people are always shocked when I say it, and I'm like, well, yeah, of course I play the games. I love the games. They're like a massive part of my life. I run a channel based on their games, and you know, and when I do, like, I make a point of not going off on like what I call like slagging off, but sometimes I have strong views that aren't necessarily positive. But that's only because I'm so passionate about the game, the hobby that they produce. And I want it to be a success.
Yeah,
and when
your passion.
Yeah, and when I hear something or I experience something that they've done that I think isn't a good move or something, it upsets me because I just want it to succeed. I don't want it
Do you know sometimes where a lot of it comes from?
Mm-hmm.
Is sometimes a fear of communicating certain things. I think I'm quite an open person, but then I'm also, let's be honest, I'm a tiny business nobody cares about, so I can afford to be honest and transparent with a lot of things I do. But for them, I think there's sometimes the worry of what they can say, and often some of the decisions they make are nothing to do with anything apart from maybe a logistical one.
Yeah.
That if they actually took some time to explain it,
I think you're right.
People would be like, fair enough, actually.
Yeah.
I'd make the same decision 99 times out of 100. I'd make the exact same decision. Right? Let's say what really gets people going is they got rid of a unit, right? That you feel like you've invested in. Like you feel like you've invested in this, and this unit is now like it's legends. Okay. Now, I get it. That's a bit upsetting. If they're not selling that, would you keep a thing on your shelves if that wasn't selling? No, you wouldn't. But no, nobody would. Nobody that owns a shop would do that. Like, it wouldn't make... And if you're like, okay, well, we need to keep this many files, and then we need to make sure we still got this mold, but that's taking up space, and that's doing this, and logistically, we can't even afford that. If we were to do that, it'd make a massive loss. Like, honestly, it's... Like I said, 99. Most of us are intelligent enough to go 99 times up, 100 would make that the same call. Yeah. But it's sometimes the delivery and how it's communicated isn't necessarily what I would do. No. Like when, for example, they got rid of scouts, right? They were like, the scout models and the assault marines are going, right? People were like, oh my god, this is ridiculous, blah 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 blah. If they'd have gone, hey guys, look what we've got, brand new sculpts of scouts, brand new sculpts of assault intercessors with jump packs now, people would be like, old jump pack dudes, you're in the bin, getting these new dudes. Like, people would have just been like that. But because they announced the cut off first, and then it was like a bit later, they released the actual models, like, nobody's there like, oh my god, the old Ashtaroth model, I can't believe it. Like, how are they not going to sell the old Ashtaroth model anymore? Nobody cares. Everybody's saying, we want to buy this new one. And it's no different, but it's just sometimes in the communication doesn't quite strike the right chord, I think. So anyway, that's my
I agree. There you go. Suppose I was going to ask, do you have any advice for anyone that's just getting into the hobby or content creation?
If you're just getting into the hobby, well, I've got a terrible YouTube channel you definitely shouldn't watch, and if you don't want to learn the game, definitely don't buy any of my courses because they're awful. They certainly won't help you play at all, although that's what they're titled. So I'm actually really proud of our Start Playing Age of Sigmar course. That is banging, if I was to say anything. But anyway, so it's trying to find a like-minded group of positive people. Surround yourself with people that you want to be like. Okay? If you surround yourself by negative, nasty people, guess what? You're going to become a negative, nasty person. So, like, if you want to get big and strong in the gym, go and train with big and strong people, because guess what? You will get big and strong. If I want to get really good at Zumba, I'm not hanging around with my bodybuilder friends. I'm going to go hang around with loads of Zumba people, right? Like, it's facts. Just be really careful with the friends that you choose, okay? And sometimes we need to have a little think about, are those friendships serving me well? And that can sometimes the biggest barrier to your entry point to do anything can be the people around you. They really can, and they can often be the thing stopping you. And the thing that you're most afraid of is their opinions. Well, screw them. Yeah. Go and do the thing that you want to do, and go for it. Yeah. And I'd give you the exact same thing with content creation, right? Like, I've started coaching some people now for content creation and social media, and it's really, I find that really rewarding, is to see them succeed. But being afraid of other people's opinions is probably the biggest thing I would say that holds people back, is worrying about what other people think. And the only people that really matter are the people that would be there at the very end with you, the people that would come and see you on your very last day. Those opinions are the ones that matter, and only those.
Yeah.
Everybody else has just got an opinion, like they've got something else that I won't say. So the most important thing is you focus on what makes you happy, what you want to do, bring in your vision to life, and providing you don't hurt or harm anyone in them, you know, as best as you possibly can, and that's not always possible. You will make mistakes, you will fail, and don't be afraid of any of those things. And I would genuinely say fail fast, make mistakes, but just learn from them. And as a content creator, you will find your space, you will find your audience, and providing that you're authentic and not two-faced and not somebody different online than you are in person, then I think you'll genuinely be successful.
Yeah, very well put indeed.
So we've spoken about how you're an advocate for good sportsmanship, mental well-being and overall fitness. Do you feel that both keeping fit and then having engaging fun games have had a huge part to play in better mental health for yourself and maybe the wider team and people you've spoken to who've done the academy?
Yeah, I think so I don't know, which part are we talking about? Playing nerdy games or going to the gym? Which one first?
I personally, and having got a sports background as well, it's kind of, do you feel they both have an effect?
100%. And I think I'm very aware of when I'm feeling good. So when I'm not feeling good physically, it feels like, okay, have either of you ever drank to the point where you've been hungover?
Maybe.
Okay, so you know the next day you feel a bit groggy, right?
Yeah.
And you don't feel very good.
Yeah.
When I feel great, if I dropped my quality of my diet for a while and didn't exercise as much, what people think is normal, I feel like feels hungover. Okay? That's the easiest way for me to explain it. When you get enough sleep, drink enough water, exercise regularly, lift some heavy things, eat some protein, have some vegetables, then you're going to feel so good. It's like the opposite of a hangover. Okay? That has such a positive effect on you, because it's impossible to feel anything different than positive. Okay? Because you just feel great. You can do what you want. You've got the strength and the courage, and also doing those things gives you the discipline to make hard decisions when you need to make them. It builds you resilience, which is a skill that not many people have. Resilience is such a hard skill to learn, because I think we live in an age now where everything is so immediate that people expect it to be yesterday, and they're not willing to put the work in. They're not willing to fail, because somebody's always been there to wrap them up in cotton wool and go, it's okay, well done for participating. Nobody's actually gone, get up, try again, do it again, but different. You know, there's an element to, you need to put yourself in an uncomfortable position on a regular basis, so then when an uncomfortable situation comes up, it's not as uncomfortable as the situation you've already put yourself in before.
Yeah.
Like when I'm going under the bar of a 160 kilo bench press, I'm bloody scared. And if somebody writes me a little comment on YouTube, I don't care, because it's not 160 kilos that could come crashing down on my neck. It's nowhere near as bad as that. So and then you fail and you're like, this is embarrassing. I've got 160 kilos laying on my chest. I can't get this up. You get this just moment of, I've got to push this weight up, and no matter what happens, I'm going to have to push this up. And it's something that you've all got deep inside of you that you can tap into, but it's understanding when and how you can do that in a way that is positive, rather than getting bitter and twisted about it and taking it out on other people that do that. And I think for me, that's where the positive mental attitude really helps, because when I see somebody do something successful, I want to go over and high five them. I want to pat them on the back, and I want to learn from how they've done it. That's why I love going to see Play on Tabletop, because those guys are great, and the more time I can spend with them, the more, and I'm going to improve. I speak to Tak, and he genuinely inspires me to be a better content creator, right? And when I see and he shares a lot of things with me, and when I see his success, I'm not there getting bitter and twisted about it. I'm like, mate, that is amazing. Like, you are showing me what is potentially possible.
Yeah.
That's great. And I can't be anything but happy for him. Genuinely can't be. I've got no other feeling to have, because I'm secure enough in myself to know that hard work pays off.
Yeah.
And when you put the work in, that you get that back.
Yeah.
Rather than feeling entitled and that the world owes me anything, or that these things should be given to you on a plate, and they're not. And when you expect them to be and they're not given, it just it can really take you down a dark path. So I think in a long-winded way, yes, it does help, basically.
Yeah. And following on from that, do you have any more sort of general advice for anyone that might be struggling with their own mental health or anything like that?
Well, I will caveat and say that I'm not a mental health expert.
So
all I can do is talk about my own experience as to what I would do.
Yeah.
I think what are some things that I do when my own mental health isn't great, and I'm not perfect. I have bad days, I have bad weeks, I have bad months. So what do I do? Well, first thing is I need to find out what is it that's causing me to be upset. Okay, what is it that I'm not happy with? So for quite some time, I was actually unhappy with how I looked. And it's really maybe shallow. Some people will think. I don't care if you think that. It's just how it is. I like looking a certain way with my physique, because I've always looked that way. Imagine going to the barber shop, having long blonde hair, and you've really liked your curly long blonde locks, and you walk out, and all of a sudden, you've got black hair and it's all shaved off, right? Or you've got a mullet with red bits on, that you'd be like, what's going on, right? That would genuinely freak you out if that happened, right?
Yeah.
Because every time you look in the mirror, you're going to think, that's not me. Who's that person, right? So it's like this massive change of identity for me when I unfortunately neglected myself, because I made excuses that I couldn't do things, and I had a few injuries, and work was really busy and everything. Now, okay, there was some excuses, which some of them might have had some actual legitimacy behind, but at the end of the day, I pulled it back round, and now, I'm probably back into the best shape I've ever been in. But so it's just looking at it and go, what is making me unhappy? Is it the people that I'm with? Do they really upset me when I'm with them? Do they run me down? We don't owe them anything. Sack them off. But I've had to make some seriously big decisions in my life to essentially cut people out that are not helping you. And do you know what? You're probably not helping them either. It's probably a two-way thing. Just find out the root cause of what that is. And if you're not sure what that is, maybe talk to somebody that you can trust to try and help that. So for me, sometimes it's I haven't been eating well enough, or I haven't been I've been neglecting myself. It could be that I haven't taken stock of the things I'm grateful for. So starting to write a gratitude log, like 3 things I'm grateful for every day, that can really help. Practice being present with people as well. So put your phone down and actually just enjoy their company. Just spend more time being okay with your own company as well, and your own thoughts. There's a really big skill there that, again, I think is not practiced enough.
No, that's fantastic. And I think Gareth's got a few questions now, and I'm going to bring it back to more Vanguard Tactics and that sort of thing.
No, don't talk about that. We're on good topics.
Yeah, it's all important stuff. It's stuff that I feel passionate about. So it's nice to get other opinions and other bits of advice from other people. So,
like, genuinely, if we spent an hour, right, and we spoke about this kind of stuff and it helped one person,
exactly, man,
then that means a lot more to me than if somebody signs up for an MVP campaign. Yeah, of course, that's important. Having been able to play some games in a cool studio would be nice. But what's more important is those people that reach out to me and go, listening to you here talk about X was the thing that stopped me from doing Y.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't honestly, like, if there's people in the Twitch and they've got questions, I'm happy to go as deep as we need to, because that means so much more to me than anything else.
That's great.
Yeah. We use Warhammer as a tool to help us get, of course, Warhammer gives us some cool benefits. It helps our numeracy, our literacy, our strategy. It helps us risk manage. It helps us have some fun. It helps us build connections. But most importantly, we do all that because it helps us mentally, right? So that's what we're really here for.
Exactly.
Before I get on to the next few questions, I am actually going to say that Stephen is one of the best advocates for this I've come across. I signed up for the Academy the first time round in 2022. It kicked off at a very low point, and because I encouraged somebody else on a mentoring call that Stephen was running for the Academy to go and seek support, Stephen actually asked me to stay on the call on a Sunday and spent an hour of his time talking to me. And people ask, why do I spend the time that I do trying to support people with their own mental health? Is because of the example that was set then by Stephen. And as he says, if you can just help one person, you've helped one person, and that one person could then help maybe one or two other people, and that example could help one or two people. We don't know, and all we can do with that is do our best to support people. Yes, there are people in the hobby who are mental health professionals, but as individuals, we can do our own bit by asking twice is the one that I always say, because in the construction industry that I mainly work in, you ask someone how they're doing, and all right, no matter how their day's going.
Yeah.
So,
as everyone is aware, I have my own emotional support Gareth. It's a thing, and it's caught on as well.
Yes.
So it's a real thing, emotional support Gareth. I think you should change your Insta name.
No, thank you. I like winding up Jord by being called Dante.
Don't wind up Jord.
Yeah, true.
Don't wind up Jord. But yes.
So if we move on just a little bit, we've obviously got the Vanguard Tactics Academy's doing a new intake at the moment, but as you've touched on, and I've discussed with a few people, that's not necessarily the best starting point for somebody who's either coming into the hobby or coming back to the hobby after a time away. And I think it was late 2021, you put together the first 40k boot camp that I was at least aware of. What have you got that's unique to the start playing or learn to play 40k, learn to play AOS, because there's one for each? How much better is that than just picking up the rule book and going, oh well, let's just follow the rules of the game?
So, Daz, who was your favourite teacher at school?
Daz, did you like any of your teachers at school?
I didn't go to school. What?
Can you name any of them?
No, I couldn't.
Gareth, what about you?
Gareth can.
I could name...
I never had to name one. But
yeah, so Dr. Horn was my A-level physics teacher. He had a research background originally before he became a teacher, and he basically pushed me to start reading some of the university level stuff while I was doing my A-level because I enjoy physics. Guy Hawkins was my chemistry teacher. He was a geologist by background, and he loved making chemistry good by making things go bang in the lab.
So, Daz, is there anybody that's taught you anything that you you could recall their name?
Yeah, I mean, like, I had a music teacher that I can remember. Yeah, so
Okay.
Mr. Marshall,
So-
I can remember.
Cool.
Yeah, so 'cause I was always quite into my music, playing music, that sort of thing. So yeah, got memories of that.
So you could just read the music book, right?
Yeah,
But it's your teachers. It's the teachers that make you retain the information.
yeah,
And that's what our courses do, is they're a retention tool of the words that are given in a book. And of course you can sit there and read them, but the reason why you're not just given a textbook at school and that you're actually taught to interact with each other is because it's how the teacher delivers that information that's in the textbook. That's the important part. So on my courses, I strip away all the boring things that I hate and we start with the good stuff. And again, when you can look at something so complex as the game of Warhammer, and it is, all we can do is we can show you what a full game looks like of Warhammer on our YouTube channel. We can get you excited about it. I want to be able to do that. Okay, cool. Now this is the whole game. Now we're going to break it down into little mini segments. So this is I've spoke about this before, right? So it's no secret. The first lesson that you're going to learn, the first proper lesson, we've got to teach you obviously a couple of basics, like this is a war scroll, and on the war scroll you'll see a movement value, right? But after you've got into the first practical lesson is the movement phase. What in Age of Sigmar, what comes before the movement phase?
Oh, no idea. the hero phase?
The hero phase, right? Or in 40k it's the command phase. Yeah? In 40k you're like, right, well, technically we've got to make a battle shock check. Who cares? No one's even died. Like, they'll bore that off straight away.
Get on with moving stuff about.
Yeah, let's move some stuff around. So, as a kid, what was the thing that you probably did with all your friends instantly? What was the most simplest game you could ever do with your friends in the, I don't know, in the playground? You could race.
I was going to say tag or British Bulldog, but then that probably says
exactly.
more about the school I went to.
Yeah, tag, British Bulldog, racing, whatever,
Bulldog.
right?
I forgot about British Bulldog.
What a great game.
I know, it's bringing back all the
Absolute
memories.
Yeah, what a great game that was. So we literally teach you that in how to play. So lesson 1 is moving. You need to get your models to the other side of the table before your opponent gets their models on the other side of the table. It's essentially a race. But what do you learn? You learn screening, you learn coherency. There's loads of things that we actually subliminally teach you, but you don't know you're learning it. You're just having fun racing your friend or yourself or the person that you're trying to learn with. And then you're like, oh, let's play that again. So all of a sudden, you're like, well, we're actually playing this weird little game of just moving our models, rolling some dice. We're not shooting, we're not killing each other. We're just focused on playing the mission, which is get your models to the other side. The next lesson is the shooting phase. So you can move and you can shoot. You can't do anything else. So you can either focus on running as fast as you can at the detriment of not shooting, or you can shoot at the detriment of not running. But the mission is to get to the other side of the table. So you can't just shoot the whole time because you're not going to win anyway. So now you've got a decision to make. Is it better to run? Is it better to shoot? And at what degree, right? So then we're teaching you simple things like decision making, right? Meanwhile, you're having fun, you're rolling dice. So my courses are broken up into those ways that inspire people to actually use models they have, or coins, or, you know, big mints, whatever you've got knocking about, it doesn't matter, salt and pepper pots. It really, I don't care what you use. So that's where the rule book is different to our courses. And we always say you're going to need the rule book. Like, we're not trying to be anything, we're not trying to be the rule book. We're just trying to help you interpret it in a way that you remember, so that after the course you don't need it. You know where it is when you need to look something up, but generally you won't need it because you'll be having fun playing.
So yeah, that's as I say, I did the original version, and there were some of them, shall we say, mini games in there. But it's interesting how that's been expanded on, especially with the Age of Sigmar one.
Well, the Age of Sigmar one is beautiful. I'm really proud of it. So I'll give it to you both. Just send me your email addresses after, and you can have a go. You can let me know what you think.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm not going to ask the next bit because it was about challenges that you face, and I think we've discussed some of the challenges both from the community and as a business, especially with the growth that you're undergoing at the moment. So what I'd rather touch on is a comment that we've had in chat from one of our regular people, Lucario. He's basically put that he's reached out to you a couple of times when you've posted about negative comments and the like that you've received. But he's referencing more the fact that even with all those negatives, you've produced what Lucario is saying is some amazing content and he's enjoyed it a lot. So I think you're winning the battles there by the sounds of things. You're beating those challenges, and I think we've touched on a variety of them as we've talked.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably the next big challenge is, how have your responsibilities changed at VT as you developed the content, expanded the team, and outgrown the current studio?
Oh my god, I'll have to wear so many hats every day.
Make Jake HR. Come on, please.
He is.
Jake's HR, really?
It's actually what he does as a profession.
Oh.
Fair enough.
So
See what we find out, people.
Jake works with us one day a week, okay? And if we hit the goal, Jake will probably get a full-time job. But shh, don't tell anyone.
You'll have to edit that bit, Daz.
Jeez.
You don't have to edit it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't.
So in that, genuinely, like that's Jake is one person that's helped me out pretty much from the very beginning. He's always been there. He's always tried to pay it forward, and he's been fantastic. And all he wants to do is work for VT full time. So, and we've never took him on full time because the company, and we've both known this, hasn't needed his skill set. And there comes a point in a company where it does require different things. It does require different roles. You don't need an accountant until you become VAT registered, or like you actually start making money is the first time you need an accountant, right? But you can probably get by doing it yourself. But when you become VAT registered, now you've got a headache, so definitely get an accountant, right? So there's all these different things that you need to get at different stages when the business requires it. So yeah, hopefully if we hit the goal, Jake will get a full-time job at VT. I genuinely hope that for him and for VT as well. But again, it's so difficult with what am I good at? I don't really know anymore, because I've had to be so many different things to so many. I'm different things to different people, and so I've ended up becoming like a chameleon, I suppose. And that's what Vanguard Tactics needs me to be. Is it needs me to be the positive person about the community or the game, even at times when, you know, I'm maybe not digging it as much as I have in other times, right? I go through all those things like burnout and I'm not loving this at the minute, you know, I preferred it then, and I'm like all of you lot, right? But I'm like, in the long run, I know it'll be okay. So I have to be somewhat, or I try to be positive for the community, so that there's somebody being positive, because actually being negative gets you a lot more views, I can tell you that for sure, but it doesn't help it. I don't think it helps, so I don't do it. And then to like my team, like to Jordan, I support him with everything he does. Jordan has an incredible work ethic, and I probably push Jordan harder than anyone else. And with Jordan, I had So I had to be honest with him, and I said, look, I push you so hard because I see a lot of me in you.
Mm-hmm.
And I see so much potential. So that is why I pushed Jordan so hard. And I've only seen him thrive over the last year. He's absolutely thrived. And sometimes it breaks me a little bit when I tell him no, or I have to poo-poo one of his ideas or whatever, but I explain it and he gets it.
Uh-huh.
And then with each and every person, you just have to be a bit different. And maybe you're HR to one person, and you're their manager to another, and you're their co-presenter in another one. And sometimes I need to be the expert in the video, and sometimes I need to be the learner, and sometimes I need to go on another channel and be, you know, a different Steve, kind of. You know, I just have to put different hats on. When I go to Play On, I'm a different presenter than when I am on my channel. So not necessarily massively different, but I'm not running the show, so I'm kind of doing what fits the battle report, right? That's me being a good presenter, is being a good like chameleon in that respect, like an actor really. But yeah, so you've got to be different. In some of the things I do, I absolutely hate, genuinely hate doing them, and other things I absolutely love. But yeah, at the minute it's just, can I do it? Can I make it a success for everybody? And that is, I think, the biggest worry, is that every day I go home and I'm like, did I give it everything today? Because at the end of the month, I'm going to need to pay them. And that money puts food on their table and, you know, a roof above their head. And there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. So every day I give it everything.
Yeah.
I'm the first one in and I'll be the last one out every day. And yeah, so.
Fantastic.
Speaking of going home, I'm hopefully going to
Speaking of going home, bye.
No, because he's at work still. He's not at home. That's what I'm very much aware of. I'm going to close out on what hopefully will be a slightly more fun question for you. There's obviously been a lot of love for the new version of AOS within the team. We know from the Daz tournament that even 3.0, Jord, Seb, Mike absolutely love the game. What has generated that love for the game? Is it partly down to the most recent change in rules? And do you feel any of those changes are lessons that Games Workshop have learned from their other game systems?
Age of Sigmar 4th edition. That's what we're playing now, right?
Yes.
Cool. Probably one of the best games I've ever played. For the simple fact that the game is written in a way that corresponds with the intent in which you should play that game at. So, for me, I don't have to have arguments at the table with people. It's just great. It's just this really beautiful game that's clean, and the team that have put that together are so passionate about it. They genuinely are. So last year I thought we might want to look at Sigmar because we all love the models. I think it just comes from a model perspective originally. And I've always loved the Lumineth when they first ever came out. I had no excitement to play Age of Sigmar, but then when those Lumineth models came out, I was like, them cavalry, I'm going to eat them up because they are, bloody brilliant. So anyway, I collected the Lumineth army, played a couple of games, and it was all right. Hated the double turn, but there we go. 4th edition is fantastic, and I know the Age of Sigmar rules writing team very well, I would say, at this point, and I trusted them explicitly to do an incredible job, which is why I invested so heavily into the game. And it was funny because on one of the Games Workshop videos, right, where me and Jake were invited up and they showed us the game, and it was a real privilege. We were interviewed and we said it was great. Genuinely is. Somebody commented, "Oh, how much did they pay you to say that?" And I was like, right, I'm gonna be honest. If you even think for a minute, how much would you have to pay me to say that? Genuinely, what would be like, let's say I was paid, if I was, what would be in a reasonable amount, do you think, to get me somewhere for the day, to take me a day off work, where I'm not making money for my own company, to try and make me play a game that I don't play, to make me talk about a game that I don't play and I don't have an audience for? How much money do you think I should have charged, or they should have paid, or whatever, or you would pay for that? What is an amount of money that's reasonable? Genuine question.
We're going to go to chat.
3-hour drive to Nottingham for me. It's the 3-hour drive back, and I've also got to stay in a hotel. So I would say 3,500 is actually a reasonable amount.
Yeah.
Right, because when you do anything for anybody else that isn't your own company, you've kind of got to charge it double, because you're doing something for somebody else that isn't building your own business. You're building somebody else's, right?
Yeah.
So if that was the case, genuinely, if, I would not have bought every single army for Age of Sigmar and then had Billy just painting them all, and then me painting some in my own spare time, and the rest of the team learning the rules. The sheer cost of that is massive. I've been investing in this game for the company for the last year to be able to do any sort of Age of Sigmar content whatsoever. So when I was up in that video and I said this game is great, you didn't have to pay me. I'd have said it because I meant it, and I wouldn't say it even if I was paid. So, and I just laid that out in the message. I was like, look, this is what I've invested in this game. So it's not, I believe in the team. I really do.
Yeah.
And I really hope, and I've had this conversation. I've said, look, I love these aspects of it. I can't go into any specifics, but I've had those conversations, and I just genuinely love that game. So yeah. I can't wait to play it again.
Amazing. Yeah. I think that is actually. Have we got to? You got anything else to add, Dante? You look like you're ready to open up a new round of questioning.
No.
I don't want to.
I need to say when he comes back from business and got things rolling at the studio. Might require a visit maybe, and then we can do more questions. But
I just want to say massive thank you for your time. It is appreciated, and I'm just glad we managed to get a time slot that sort of worked for both of us, and to do this. So I'm trying to collect all the Vanguard Tactics guys for behind the brushes. Slowly going to catch them all. But I will get.
So, how have I done? Have I been an okay guest for you?
Oh, you've been amazing, Stephen. Thank you very much. No, honestly, it's been great. And I say one thing that I want to happen, so I'm hoping it can be facilitated. Is I want to do a game that we do periodically, guest sprue, but do it live, Vanguard Tactics edition.
Okay.
I've heard you like a bit of competitiveness, and it's definitely that.
Don't know what you're talking about.
No, I don't. No, it's just I know that Jake takes it very seriously.
So, one of my heroes of all time is Arnold Schwarzenegger. All right. And I'm going to tell you a little story about Arnold Schwarzenegger. So, he used to compete on a Sunday. Okay.
Okay.
He called his mum because he told his mum that he actually competed on the Saturday. So when his mum called him, how did you get on? I won. It was the day before he won every show. And he would always go, well, I'm going to win, and you guys can argue between second and third place. And I just think that is just the most sheer, not even arrogance. Because if it was arrogance, he wouldn't have actually won, because he'd been barking more than he could bite. But Arnold Schwarzenegger put his money where his mouth was every single time, and was, he probably still is the greatest of all time. He inspired a generation more than I think any other potential. But
But yes.
I'm going to tell you now, they can all argue between second, third, fourth, and fifth, because I'm winning it. All right? I don't know what it
It's
is.
on.
but
There we go. So we go. So this is it. We just need to sort out a date for everybody now, and it's on. You've just got to learn all your sprues.
all of them.
Oh, well, no, not all of them. There's a selection that I show. You just have to guess what kit they come from.
Right.
So there we go. Yeah. So far, I think Jake's the champion at the minute.
Well, you've done this with Jake already, and not me.
Well, he joined like one of the ones we did, like I think with K-Legs and was it something like that? Yeah. So yeah, he's been on one. I think Billy's been on one as well.
Oh my god.
But
Amateur hour?
but she was cheating because Peachy was messaging her the answers.
Oh.
So they were teaming up together. Yeah, I know, right?
You can't trust him.
I know,
He'll
right?
cheat.
I've decided that now. That's you know. What can I do? What can I do? I mean, we don't want this, so yeah. Maybe hopefully that can be organised, and that'd be a really good laugh to do. So hopefully once you're settled in and got everything sorted your end. But yeah, just want to say a massive thank you, Stephen, for taking the time to come on. It's really is appreciated. And thank you, Dante Paints, for being my co-host.
It's not a problem. Yeah. I hope you're feeling better tomorrow.
I hope so too, man. I really do, because I have no choice but to go to work. So, but yes, thank you to everyone that's joined us in the chat. You're amazing. If you're watching this back on YouTube, all the links to all the things will be in the description, so do go and check it out. As much as Stephen said negative things about his own business, that's not true. Go and check it out and support it.
It's terrible. No, it's absolutely awful.
Support it, please do.
Don't bother.
Jeez.
Don't do it.
Like fighting an uphill battle here. Yeah, so I'm just going to say goodbye to the YouTube people very quickly. So thank you everyone in YouTube land, and stay safe and happy hobby all.